Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. If you love getting right into the thick of Springbok strategy, well, you're definitely in the right place today.
Absolutely.
We're digging into a really interesting recent piece from John Cardinelli over at Rugby Pass. It's called Opportunity Knocks for New Warriors in Springbok Squad.
Yeah, I read that one. Good piece.
It really dives into the latest national alignment camp selections, and what they might mean for the upcoming international season.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to unpack the new guys coming in, talk about some players who maybe surprisingly aren't there, and just try to get a handle on the strategy behind it all.
Sounds good. It's always fascinating trying to get inside Rassie's head.
Isn't it just?
Yeah.
So stick around. And hey, if you enjoy this kind of deep analysis, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession for more.
So the big picture first, I guess. Cardinelli highlights Rassie naming 36 players for this camp in Cape Town.
Right.
And crucially, he's also talking to another 18 guys based over in Europe and Japan. That's a lot of players already in the frame.
It really is. It screams preparation for the 2025 tests, doesn't it? Laying the groundwork early.
Definitely. Very much a statement of intent, building that depth.
And what about the uncapped players? That always gets people talking. We've got Juarno Augustus, the number 8.
Ah, yes, from Northampton. He's been in, what did Cardinelli call it, barnstorming form?
Yeah, exactly. And he's got the Champions Cup final coming up, too. Big stage.
Huge. Then there's Vincent Chatuka, the utility forward from the Sharks. His inclusion was apparently held up a bit by red tape.
Right, finally getting his look in. And maybe the biggest surprise, Tokozo Makaza.
The winger, yeah, from UCT.
Straight out of Varsity Cup, where he was apparently a nerveless goal kicker, but hasn't played franchise rugby yet. That's interesting.
It really is. I mean, it suggests they're maybe looking at very specific skills, like that goal kicking. Willing to gamble on potential, maybe?
Could be. Well, Augustus feels more like a plug-and-play option, given his form in England.
Right. It shows Rassie's net is cast pretty wide, doesn't it? Different levels, different leagues.
Definitely. Okay, so then you have the flip side, the omissions. Always controversial.
Always.
Cardinelli mentions guys like Evan Roos, the Stormers' number 8, and Johan Grabelar, the Bulls hooker. Their absence certainly got noticed.
Yeah, especially Roos. You hear a lot from Stormers fans who are, well, pretty disappointed he's not in the mix right now.
Understandably so, given his performances sometimes. But as the article points out, it's an alignment camp. The door's not shut.
Exactly. Right? It's not the final squad. Maybe Rassie just wants to look at some different options for now, or guys who haven't been in the system as much lately.
And then there's the injury list, which always plays a part. Some big World Cup names unavailable. Franz Mallarbe, Trevor Nyakane, Dion Forey.
And El Rey Lowe. Ben Jason Dixon, too.
Cardinelli notes, Nyakane and Forey are getting on in years. Maybe a subtle hint about looking forward.
Could be. Natural squad evolution. But it's good news that Pieter-Steph du Toit, who is coming back from that shoulder issue, is included.
And Jasper Wise, too. That initial report sounded bad, like a season-ending neck injury.
Yeah, but apparently it's less severe. Both are attending the camp, which is great.
You'd imagine they're itching for game time. That could definitely influence how Rassie manages the rotation later on.
No doubt. Which brings us to the back row dynamics. Seems like a real area of focus.
Yeah. Cameron Hanekom got his first cap against Wales. Now he gets another chance to impress at the camp.
And Augustus is being talked about as a potential like-for-like replacement for Wise, isn't he?
That's the phrase used, yeah. Adds another dimension alongside the established guys Khaleesi, Quagga Smith, Marco van Staden.
Plus the utility guys like Mostert, Jean-Luc Dupries, Ruan Nortje even. And they've included Cobus Wise and Renzo Duplessis, too.
Wow, yeah. Lots of options there. The competition must be fierce.
Which is exactly what you want. A commenter on the Rugby Pass article made a good point, actually. Back row injuries could make that New Zealand tour tricky later.
Good point. So having guys like Augustus and Hanekom pushing hard now is, well, pretty vital.
Absolutely. Provides that cushion, that resilience.
Now, Cardinelli also brings up the situation with Roos again. Mentions a potential off-field issue between Roos and the coaches.
Yeah, suggests that might be playing a part, despite his form. It's a tricky one.
It is. Hopefully, whatever it is, he gets sorted. You want players like that available.
You do. It just shows selection isn't only about what happens between white lines, Yeah. Team culture, dynamics.
Yeah.
It all matters.
Fair point. Okay, let's shift to the front row. Marnus van der Merwe's inclusion is notable, the hooker playing over in Wales.
Right. Erasmus apparently highlighted him specifically. Fits that physical mold they like, alongside Mbanambi and Marks when he's fit.
Tough luck then for Grobbelaar and Andre Hugo Venter missing out this time.
Yeah, hooker's always competitive, and Merwe must have really impressed playing overseas.
And Jan-Hendrik Wessels gets mentioned too. Potential utility value across the front row. Always handy.
Very handy. Versatility is gold in a modern squad.
Then quickly, the back line. Cardinelli calls it a selection headache. Just so much talent there.
Yeah, an embarrassment of riches, almost.
Makaza, the winger we mentioned, may be seen as a long-term project.
Seems plausible. Give him exposure, see how it develops. Same potentially for Ethan Hooker, who's trained with them before. Maybe he gets a run out.
It all points to that growing depth, doesn't it? And if you're finding this look at the squad depth interesting, hit that subscribe button for Rugby Obsession. We do this all the time.
And nurturing guys like Makaza, it fits that pattern, right? Rassie, thinking long-term, building sustainable success.
Definitely. So wrapping it up, the article really paints a picture of Erasmus sticking to his guns, using a big pool like the 50 players last year. Constantly building depth, not just for the Rugby Championship, but looking ahead to the next World Cup too.
Yeah, and those Rugby Pass comments, Cardinelli included, were interesting. People talking about balancing game time, getting combinations right.
And that idea that maybe, just maybe, the Bokkers are getting to a point where no single player is completely irreplaceable.
That's a powerful position to be in. It means the system, the collective, is strong. One commenter did worry about the back row injuries for the NZ Tour, but acknowledged Augustus deserves his shot.
And hope Daru's thing gets resolved, which we mentioned. So lots to think about. What are your thoughts on these selections? Let us know. Jump into the comments section on Rugby Obsession. Share your opinions.
Yeah, we'd love to hear them. Overall, though, it feels like a positive step, doesn't it? This focus on depth, on competition, it bodes well for the future.
I agree. It really does set things up nicely. So we hope this deep dive has given you a bit more insight into Rassie's thinking as the internationals get closer.
It's definitely exciting watching this blend of, established stars and these potential new warriors coming through.
Absolutely. Seeing who steps up will be fascinating. Thanks so much for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
We look forward to you tuning into our next episode.